Welcome to the Fine Print, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Caleb Teskey, and today we're doing a late evening interview, and I've got Mr. Peanut Butter Breath, the co-owner of Fierce Cultivation in Saint Albans, Mike Salvaty, joining me tonight. Mike, thank you for being here, sir.
I appreciate you, Caleb. Appreciate you for having me on. And I just want to take a minute real quick before we jump in. I just want to thank you for everything that you're doing. You're out there on the streets, you're doing your grind. We appreciate what you're doing. Us here at Fierce, me and Jimmy, and as well as I'm sure the community does as well.
I appreciate that, man. And I appreciate this lovely t-shirt. And I took the hoodie off, but I want to say thank you to you and Chelsea for hooking me up, dude, and keeping me warm today.
Yeah, not a problem, man. Appreciate the support, man.
Yeah, beautiful shirts, and I really love the hoodies too. Before we get into anything, would you give us a 5-minute life story?
Absolutely, man. So I was born in New York, grew up there for a little while. I moved here in the '90s, went to Essex High School. It was kind of where I went to school, and was a Hornet. loved Essex for the most part. I enjoyed going to school there. It was a pretty good time in my life. And then from there, I had a child young. When I was a senior in high school, my son was born.
Oh, so damn.
I decided I had some adult things going on. So I ended up dropping out of school, got into sales, which was kind of in my career for the most part. I started I was working at a jewelry store at the time, full-time senior in high school, full-time employment.
With a kid.
With a kid. So
that must be a lot, Mike.
It was a lot. And so I decided to, high school really wasn't for me. And, I had a conversation with the principal, and it was at that time in my life, I was actually making more money than he was. So we had that adult conversation, and I left, worked full time, was taking care of my family, kind of did that, and went through the different sales positions that I've been through. And fast forward a little bit, I ended up, doing some things I shouldn't have, which ended up landing me.
Didn't we all?
Yeah, ended up landing me in a place I didn't want to be. But that was kind of how that went, and that's actually where I met my best friend, my brother Jimmy, man. We ended up meeting in prison, and we were locked up together. And to be honest with you, it wasn't we actually didn't really mesh when we first met.
Were you guys cellies?
No, we weren't. We were actually in two different units. But so the facility we were at, they had opened up the music room, and they had a bunch of equipment come in, and me and Jimmy were real. So touch on Jimmy real quick. Anybody that knows him knows he's passionate about two things: music and plants.
And peace to Jimmy, by the way. I hope we can get him on later.
Yeah, Jimmy, somewhere right now, I guarantee you, he is with a plant right now. As we speak, he's touching a plant.
And we spoke on the phone earlier, and that was kind of the vibe I got from Jimmy.
Yeah, he's extremely passionate about his craft, and he really enjoys it. So we were in this music room together, and I ended up doing something real stupid. I took a piece of equipment back to the unit. Obviously, you're not supposed to do that.
What kind of piece of equipment?
It was a drum machine, so.
Oh, you took you took the 808 back to the side.
Yeah, I just took it back with me, and I was under the covers, the headphones on, so and we had some words about that, but we ended up bonding and making a little bit of music together while we were there. And he was getting ready to be released. He was getting everybody's number. You know whose number he didn't get? Mine.
Damn. So he got out before you.
He got out before me. I was in there for a little bit more time, and ironically, our paths crossed again, and that's why we always say it was kind of like it was meant for us to kind of collab and be a unit. So,
how did you link up with him after that if you didn't get his phone number?
So I was working in the mall, the Square Mall, back when the Square Mall was actually open, and I was selling. I had owned a little piece of a cell phone accessory cart.
Oh, like a kiosk? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I was working there, hustling that, doing that, and he had came through the mall, and I was like, oh, what's up, man? We had talked, and he ended up showing me some information, and I said, well, yo, I have this idea. And he was like, "Oh, I already had that idea. I've been doing that." And we were talking about Italian ices. I said, "Let's sell Italian ices on Church Street." And we were talking about, I've been talking about doing that. So him and I actually started a business together over 10 years ago, and we were selling Italian ices on Church Street.
And so you get out of jail and you relink and you form this icy business in Burlington.
Right in Burlington on Church Street. We were both, I was on FSU living in a halfway house. He was on parole, and it was like we just did it. And the problem with, he had sold ices like way before at a store that he had, and he was successful with it. And so we thought we were going to be successful. We were like one of the first people to do this. But the problem was they put us way up at the top. Like I was damn near at the church on Church Street. So
I know the spot.
We didn't get any foot traffic, man. So it was like we couldn't make it work. But we remained friends. We, like I said, he ended up leaving, going to Detroit. He was actually growing out in Detroit, and I'll let him tell you that story when he comes on.
Sounded like maybe a rough
crazy,
place to operate.
Listen, let me tell you something. This dude is and that's what's going to segue into this, which is he is so crazy. Listen, so when he left Detroit, I was getting stuff from him for Chelsea, right? And he was growing like fire. I'm talking, it was like fire. Chelsea still to this day says it's some of the best weed she's ever smoked. Fire. So I was getting it from him for her, and he ended up leaving, which left me without a plug. So I was like, all right, well, I'm tired of paying money. I was buying stuff for her. She hated it, wasn't doing anything. So I was like, all right, let me try to grow.
She seems like a woman who likes a high quality bong hit.
Yeah, she's a little on the yeah, a little higher on the maintenance, you know.
Well, she's been hanging out with you too long. You probably spoiled her.
Guilty as charged. But the thing is though, is that like she wanted equality, and so I was like, well, let me try to grow. So I gave my hand at growing, and I was horrible.
Your first go wasn't that good?
Nah, it was horrible, man. It was I was like, and I said to Chelsea at the time, I said, man, I wish Jimi was here to help me. I said, man, because we were, we were out of touch at that time. We weren't talking. So I ended up tried a few times. I had some friends help me with some clones and some seeds, and it was okay. It wasn't, but it's nothing. It was, I was bad. I was bad. I was bad.
So you were just doing like trial and error, just basically.
Yeah, it was trial and error. I tried the books. I tried the YouTube thing. I just always something was missing. I always was missing something. Like I said, I was always missing something. So now a couple years later, when they legalized here in Vermont, and I started a fertilizer business. This is something that I don't even think we've ever talked about.
Cold War organics.
No, not Cold War. So it's Good Stuff Grow.
Okay.
We started Good Stuff Grow, and that was a process. I have a business relationship with Cold War, and so I was running that. I took what I knew in sales and everything else, and we're launching that. And I was in Las Vegas at the Champ Show trying to launch the product. I sent Jimi a message on LinkedIn. Just randomly, I found him on LinkedIn. So I sent him a message. I was like, "Hey, yo, what's up?"
That's how you found Jimi.
Yeah, I was like, "Yo," because listen, when we were on parole, so when I was buying from him, this is how crazy he is. Okay, he's on parole, growing next to a federal building, on parole.
He did say he was, I believe the words he said was a growing ass motherfucker.
He is.
Dude said everywhere he goes, he grows.
Dude, listen, bro, dude can grow. Hands down, 1000%. Best grower I know. Hands down.
And it's kind of amazing. I want to circle back a little bit here. It's kind of amazing that you guys linked up, because I believe he said he was going to slap your ass into jail.
Yep. Because what happened was, what I was doing when I took that piece of equipment out, I threatened the chance of shutting down that music room, right?
Oh. I got it.
which was his
You put
outlet.
the whole thing in
I
jeopardy.
put the whole thing at jeopardy, which was his outlet, which was selfish of me.
Ah.
You mean? So, rightfully so.
So it would have been fair if he slapped you.
It would have been fair. It would have been totally fair. You know what I mean? I had to take my ups.
Word up.
But it didn't work out like that. We had actually had a mutual friend that kind of, linked us together on that.
How long did you serve, Mike?
That time or total?
Total in your life?
Almost 4 years total.
Wow. And how did that time affect you? Maybe mentally or physically or spiritually? How'd you handle it?
I mean, I just read a lot. I focused on education. I focused on reading. I would always get a job in the kitchen so I could cook and be around food and things like that.
And it sounds nice that they at least had this music program. I know a lot of facilities don't offer anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, we actually recorded music. Like, I actually have it somewhere. I'd have to dig deep and find it, but we actually recorded songs. We have a whole thing, like, because Jimi can play the guitar like a crazy man.
What's it on, a cassette tape or something?
No, MP3. I had the teacher email it to me.
How old are you now, Mike?
41.
41. Word up. And yeah, cool. So after you get out, you guys relink in Burlington. You're working on this icy business.
Yep.
And so how did you guys end up chatting about the possibility of starting a cannabis business?
Listen, when we were inside, he would tell everybody, "You gotta grow, you gotta grow, you gotta grow." And he was in there for growing. He got. That's what he was in there for, was growing in Burlington, a long time ago. So they were telling him, or he was telling everybody, "You gotta grow, learn how to grow. Let's get together, let's grow." And nobody, including myself, because when I got out, and like I said, when I was going over to his house, so I went over there one time, and I remember, because like most consumers, a lot of people, I feel like a lot of people don't realize that this plant, you have to grow this plant. Like, I think people just think it appears, right? And I was kind of one of those people, right? So I walk into his place. Now, mind you, we're both on parole. He's next to a federal building. So I go in there, and he had a room, and he had his studio set up in there, his recording studio and his production studio. And as I'm walking in, I see this light under the door. And I'm like this. I'm sitting down. I'm like, man, just hurry up. Give me what I need so I can go before we both get, man, we're on parole. Like, and he was trying to tell me, find a spot. Let's go. Let's expand. Let's grow. Let's grow. He was telling me that then. I didn't listen to him. And if I would have, things would be a little different right now.
How much parole did you have to do when you got released?
I was on for another 4 or 5 years.
So you did 4 years in jail, and you had to do 5 years on parole.
I've been on supervision since I was 18.
And I know it's hard once you get into the system.
It was almost 15 years for me on supervision. So
wow, dude. And now you're off.
Been off. It was released, early behavior, all that, all the good behavior.
Cool. So, how long have you been off?
I've been off for 8-9 years now. So something like that.
Good for you, man. Good work.
So
congratulations, man. I know it's super hard to get out of the system once you've been in it.
Yeah, no, it was a challenge, but here we are. I learned a lot of things in there. A lot of people still, there's a lot of people that need to be in there that are in there. You know what I mean? So
there's also a lot of people in there that don't need to be in there.
I agree.
If you ask me.
Trust me, there's people in there that need to be there. So
yeah, word up. So yeah, anyway. Get back. I'd love to know how you guys started formulating this new business venture after the IC thing.
Yeah. So, like I said, he was trying to get people to grow, and like I said, I wasn't open-minded to it. When I saw that light in his room, I was like, I was freaked out. I'm like, oh my god, I'm like this. Dude, how do I get out of here?
So abracadabra, B.
Right. And he left. So he left. He ended up going to Detroit, and like I said, I ended up linking back up with him, and I was telling him, hey, listen, I'm in the cannabis industry now. I have this fertilizer company, blah, blah, blah. He ended up coming back to Vermont, and we ended up just right when he came back, and talk about meager beginnings, man. Like, we started from nothing. We literally had nothing. I just started the fertilizer business. I was just getting off the ground, and we were like, let's grow. Let's start doing this. So he was in an efficiency that was smaller than a hotel room. And this dude was ready to pop seeds and start growing plants. I'm like, where the hell are you going to grow plants? And I'm over there. I'm looking around. I'm like, where are you going to grow plants? We're going to put them under the bed. What are you going to do?
In the shower.
So he ended up finding another apartment. And this is a crazy thing, right? So he ended up finding another apartment. He had a roommate, couldn't pick the place. It was like the only place available. It was a 2-bedroom. He had a tent in the living room growing. He had a tent in his bedroom. This dude sleeps in the grow, like literally tent in his bedroom, sleeping right next to it on an air mattress that was going flat because it had a hole somewhere. The bedroom next door, he's hoping that something happens with the roommate, so he leaves, which ended up happening. So he ended up moving another tent, not taking the one out of his bedroom. No, can't do that. Got to leave that in the bedroom. Put another tent in there. So we started buying equipment little by little. We started buying some.
We got a tent in the living room, tent in the bedroom, tent in the other bedroom.
Tent in the other bedroom. You know what I mean? So we're really doing it. So we're going through it, and we're about, 4 to 5 weeks into flower. Okay. Now I want you to picture this. Okay. Picture yourself as a black man in a city area, Burlington, right? In an apartment complex.
City.
Your old roommate sends you a text. Hey, listen, they're coming to inspect the apartment in like 2 days for some fire extinguishers. You're like, holy, whoa. So we had to rent a U-Haul. Okay. Now I rent a U-Haul. I bring it over there. Now picture this. You're black man in an apartment complex. You got a contractor bag. You got a plant that's about 5 feet tall, 4 to 5 weeks into flower. You're moving them out at 3 or 4 in the morning in the winter, putting them into a U-Haul, moving the U-Haul up the street, watching the U-Haul. They come and do the inspection. You bring it. Now you wait till the next day, 3, 4 in the morning. You move them back in and hoping that it doesn't get cold to where you ruin the plants in the U-Haul. Mm. This is something that we've actually
or hoping maybe a neighbor doesn't see you and call the cops.
He had to do that. Like literally, that happened. He had to do that. And the crazy thing is, a week later, they call us. Oh, now we got to come and inspect something else. And he just threw it all away. He just so frustrated. It's like, what am I going to do? I'm going to rent.
So he had to scrap a whole batch because of these inspections.
Whole thing, yeah, man, it was crazy.
What a shame.
So we find another spot, and same kind of thing. This spot was real close neighbors, and it had a nice layout. It was a house, so it wasn't like an apartment, but there were still people were close. People were always staring. People were always wondering what's going on. We have these big, so we ended up putting these big 25,000 BTU window ACs. They're huge, like commercial ACs. We put them through a wall because the way this house was set up, there was a wall like 2/3 of the way through the garage. It was weird. So we used the other, and they had a room in there. So we used that room as a grow room. So we had put these ACs through the wall. And in the summertime, what do you think's happening? Like all that AC is blowing into that garage, hot garage. The smell, neighbors are looking at them, don't want to talk to them. It's just we've been through it, and I'm up in the attic like with a shirt and tie on, running wires, doing all kinds of crazy stuff to run a sub panel.
So you were doing some electrical work and shit?
Yeah, just minor stuff, you know what I mean? But like we really did all this like from bootstrap. This was real. We got it from the mud. We really put everything into it. We've been pushing to get us to where we are today. And we had a lot of fun, man. It has been fun. We got some crazy stories. We had some crazy things happen, but
it sounds like it.
I really want to thank the CCB too, because I feel like we owe them. Like I appreciate them giving us a shot. You know what I mean? Especially for giving our backgrounds and things like that. So we appreciate them and what they do. So
can you tell us what kind of license that you've acquired, Mike?
yeah, we're a tier one mixed
You
use.
got the mixed.
Yeah, tier one
Cool. So
mixed.
you're gonna do some outdoor as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can definitely gonna do some outdoor. So
And I gotta say, man, you've really hit the scene with a splash here with your fucking with the peanut butter breath. This is one of the I would say kind of signature strains that has hit the shelves here early on in our first 4 months or wherever we're at with the Vermont market.
yeah, we really we appreciate all the love, all the customers, all the dispensaries, and everybody's showing us. It's been a tremendous experience. We really enjoy it, and we love growing that plant specifically. We've had it for over 3 years, so we're glad we were able to put it out and give it to the people. We got more coming soon.
I saw that.
Yeah, got some coming soon. So
Mike Spike.
Mike Spike, yeah.
So it sounded like you're a bit of a clone hunter, perhaps. And I know we talked about this a little bit before about kind of finding a strain that will sort of define your brand that no one else has. Because I see a lot of people doing apple fritter, gorilla glue, stuff like that. The peanut butter breath, I thought you were the first person really to come out with that. And boy, that shit was frosty as hell. I remember smelling it from about 4 feet away and going, really? You remember that look I gave you?
Yeah. I was.
That's dude, and it's the bag appeal is through the roof. The effects are lovely. It tastes delicious, and I'd like to know how you go about sort of trying to find some clones that are unique or something like that, or genetics that no one else has.
Yeah, so I mean, we pheno hunt. We'll purchase clones and we'll see if it does what we want it to do. So we have certain check marks that we look for specifically, and if they don't meet that, we get rid of it. We don't. Matter of fact, I think yesterday we threw away 50 plants. We don't. We don't. If it's not going to be at least the level that peanut butter breath or better, we don't want it.
That's a high bar to set there, Mike.
No, we want people to have premium, like real premier quality, real premier. We want premier. Like we're not premium, not what I mean? So we want that real premium quality.
Top shelf.
Yeah, top shelf, so and that's one of the things Jimmy's been talking about since he got back here. I remember he was telling me when he first came back from Detroit, when we didn't have anything, I was actually shopping him around like a record deal. I was bringing him to people and saying, "Yo, listen, he's got it. He could do it." Blah blah blah. And nobody saw our vision. Well, his vision, and nobody really saw it. Nobody really wanted to take a chance on us, basically. But he's out there, man. He's real passionate about that plant. He's really passionate about the plant.
So have you guys had to bootstrap this project?
The whole thing. So, we took a chance. We took a chance on the apartment in Burlington. We took a chance on the house, and we took another chance when we got into this farm. You know what I mean? So we take chance, and that's just how we built this brand up. I mean, we took chances. You know what I mean? It's just what it is.
And the nature of this business, there's certainly a lot of previously leading up to the last October, everyone was taking a chance. Everyone was shouldering risk. Everybody was risking jail time, civil assets. Yeah, go ahead.
We were running a delivery service in Burlington for a little while, man. We had a Green Mountain Gas. We had a gas pump with the 802 and the 89 and the 91 for the octane things. We were running around doing that. And
that's dope. Your different flavors had different octane ratings.
Well, no, we did it just like that. So if you look at a gas pump, you have the three things. So I took the two major interstates in Vermont, which is 89, which is an actual octane of a gas, and 91, which is an octane.
Yeah.
And then I put the 802 in the middle, for it'd be like that. And we were running with that. And then, everybody's saying, oh, we were buying packs and putting it in our packages or whatever. But I mean, we were black market. You know what I mean?
That's what everyone was doing. Some people were growing, but there were certainly a lot of other people that were just growing selling.
Too, so we were going, like I told you, we were going through lumps and bumps, man. We were moving plants. Jimmy was moving plants at 3-4 in the morning into a U-Haul just because he had an inspection in the apartment. Like we had
And, you know,
going on like that.
and what I've been saying for the longest time is that it was really those people that were the black market, the home growers and the dealers, you know, and medical patients to a certain extent who really, I would say, created this entire industry or built the foundation for the rest of this industry to grow on.
That's and I'm glad you said that. You see my shirt that I'm wearing? Can everybody see
Yeah,
that?
no, stand up. Can you stand up just a cunt here? Yeah, there we go. Respect the grower. Okay, tell us
So
about your shirt, Mike.
so that was like our thing. Like we've been saying that for about a year now. Is like without the grower, there's no industry.
Nothing.
People need to remember that. No dispensaries, no edible makers, nothing.
No
Without
hash.
what without people like Jimi and myself, you have no there's no industry, there's no product. There's nothing.
And you know, in agriculture, it certainly seems from my observation that, and this isn't just unique to agriculture either, but it seems like the people doing the most work, aka the farmers who are growing the plant, which takes months, it seems like those people always make the least amount of money.
And that's a problem. I mean, it's always a problem. That's the problem with, like you said, the agriculture industry. But that's why we strive to bring that premier quality to everything we got. We have to have that bar set, because if you don't, you just I mean, you can't. How do you move forward with having first of all, our reputation at Fierce Cultivation is number one for us. Super important. So we take that seriously, and we take our name, we take it serious.
And like I said, remember that message I sent you with my homie that I
Yeah,
haven't seen for a minute? He hit me up, was like, yo, I just got some of that peanut butter breath, and he was super psyched about it. So and that's one of my oldest friends in the world. I've known that guy for 25 plus years. So that was super cool to see.
yeah, and I like I said, that's so humbling, and we appreciate all the love that everybody's given us. We've been humbled by it, and that's why we want to bring it even harder. We want to step it up even more. We want to make that bar higher. Like we want it to be, when you come into this state and you're looking for premier, it's Fierce. That's where we're at. We want to have that bar set. We want to make sure everybody gets that real good quality smoke.
And yeah, the feedback has been overwhelmingly positive that I've received.
It's been overwhelming, period, for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's great, man, and especially after, you know, you've had to do some jail time, and even the guy you're working with wanted to slap the shit out you.
Yeah.
That must be very satisfying to finally be sort of out in the open here after so many years of having to hide what you're doing.
Yeah, and it's still, Jimi still gets, like, he gets super hyped about it. Like I said, he's probably the most passionate person I know. Like I said, music and this plant, he's super passionate about it, and he's always talking about one or the other. We're always thinking of ways to make it better and to try to be better as cultivators and as business owners as well. So, you know, that's our biggest thing, is trying to bring that quality. Got to bring the quality.
Now, I'd like to ask you, you said the CCB has done a good job. I'd like to ask you sort of about the application process and how that went for you guys. And also, I guess I should probably ask you about the social equity portion of the program here.
Yeah. No, the application process was in. Now, I've done a lot of different things. Like I said, I have the fertilizer company, which every year you have to register products, you have to do tonnage reports, you have to do applications, things like that. So,
and you sell cars, isn't that right, Mike?
yeah, I used to sell cars. I'm finance manager, you know what I mean? So
that's probably a lot of paperwork as well.
it is. It's a lot of paperwork. So for me, the application process was easy, but I'm used to that type of stuff. So I could see how it could be somewhat overwhelming to somebody that's never had to do things like that. I'm just fortunate that I've had certain things happen in my life to where something like that to me is pretty straightforward, and I can just go through it real quick. I knew what was needed, you know what I mean? So I knew the insurance, I knew all that stuff, because with the fertilizer company, I had to have, I was selling that, and right now we're in over 100 stores nationwide with that, so that's kind of on cruise control.
Did you need an EPA certification or anything like that to sell? Yeah.
No, it's clean green certified organic, so we don't have nothing that would need an EPA certification in there.
Cool.
But so I was up to date with a lot of that stuff already, with the insurance requirements. I knew that product liability was going to be something we would need. I knew that general liability was going to be something we were going to need. I know how to form an LLC. I know how to do a lot of this stuff because I've done it already.
So did you guys hire a lawyer to help you with that at all?
Yeah, we did, because because of the things that we've discussed already. I had some presumptive disqualifications, so I had to hire, I had Tim and Andrew over at Cannabis Solutions take care, they took care of that part for us. And
would you care to tell us about their service? How do you feel about their services?
Listen, they're both great lawyers. They really are. I feel that they're on top of stuff. They handle things, and I think they do a great job. I mean, they're a real asset to the community. I know people sometimes get impatient with things that are going on, but everybody's busy, especially when you're like the only people that are doing something like that. And
there's two. Yeah, you got Dave Silverman down there in Middlebury, but Vermont is pretty limited in the scope. That's really the only two law firms.
I look at the people in Chittenden County, though. I mean, you got most of the populations in Chittenden County, and that's where they're based out of, and that's where, you know what I mean. So people just get busy, and you just got to be patient. I mean, that's just it. Being patient. Be a plant, man. We're all on plant time. Like, we can't. We're all on plant time. So.
Well, that's nice to hear. I've certainly. I'd like to ask everyone about that, just because I like to see how satisfied they are with it. What about insurance? Is it okay if I ask you who you went through for insurance?
I actually don't really know the name of the company. I found I found an agent, man, that was based out of Detroit, and
so you went with an out-of-state insurance agent?
Yeah, Price.
Cool. Price. I'd love to talk to you after this about that.
Yeah.
How about the banking? Did you find it tricky at all to get a bank account started?
Not really. I mean, it's standard. Like I said, a lot of this stuff is standard things. It's just, and again, I've done it before. Me and Jimmy have done this before. We've had a business together. We both own businesses. It's pretty. When you do it a couple of times, it comes pretty simple. It's not simple, but it's just, how to do it. You know what I mean? But I could see somebody that has no experience doing something like that. It can be overwhelming. Just for the people out there that are like that don't know where to go and don't know what to do. Just stick it out. A lot of the stuff is online, a lot of resources. Reach out to the people at the bank or the insurance agencies. They can help you out with that. They want to help. I mean,
and it seems like, I've read through the application. It does seem like at first it's a lot, but if you actually go through all the questions, it does seem fairly straightforward. What they're asking for.
It is. And like, how big was the application? I think it was only 2 pages, I mean, a credit application at a car dealership's 4, you know what I mean? So I'm like, that's why I'm saying, like, I'm used to stuff like that. And like I said, I could see how somebody that's never done something like this before, how it could be overwhelming. And, just like I said, just stay at it, reach out to resources, help, shoot me a DM, whatever. I'll point you in the right direction.
And for sure, like, if you're just coming straight out of the illicit market and you've never run like an official, like, registered business. I mean, don't get me wrong. Selling illicit market weed is a fucking business.
Right. I was about to say, you could do that.
But if you've never had to register a business and fill out all the paperwork, for sure, that seems like it could be a bit of a daunting task.
Yeah, very much overwhelming. And that's why I try to tell everybody, just stick to it. There's light at the end of the road, man. If you stick with it, it really, you make something happen, man. You just got to stick with it, man, and be positive. And remember, you're doing it for a reason. And that's kind of where we're at, man. We try to be positive as we can, and we're having fun, man. This is an adventure for us. Me and Jimmy are on a great adventure. That's the way we look at it.
Are you a positive guy, Mike? Because I was told you were kind of a dickhead sometimes.
I mean, I can be. Sometimes I'm too direct, and sometimes I can just come off that way. But I mean well, man. Like I'll try to help everybody if I can. I really try to put.
I've never known you to be a dick, even though you are very direct. But I actually appreciate that.
Some people just. I mean, I'm not gonna please everybody. I mean, that's just the name of the game. But I mean, I feel like I'm a decent friend. I feel like I'm a good person to know. So that's what it is, man. And if you get the chance to meet Jimi and know Jimi, you're blessed. That dude is amazing.
I did get to meet him briefly at the Mixer in Washington back in September, I want to say. He had the sweet backpack over his shoulder. I love those little backpacks, dude. That shit looks slick. Your merch is always official.
Yeah, we try to come. You gotta come with that, man. You gotta make sure you're putting your brand right so people know what it is. You don't want to put something out and have some mixed. What type of company are you? You know what I mean? So we try to make sure that people really know what it is, and I'm glad that people come up to us with the ram head and they're like, oh, I'm an Aries too. That makes us feel so much better because that's where it came from. Because
Shit.
we're both Aries, so it was kind of cool the way that came about. But it is really cool when somebody says, "Oh, I'm an Aries too." I'm like, "Oh, you got it, great." Like,
Buy some weed.
yeah, right. Yeah,
Your horoscope is you will buy a bunch of weed.
yeah, right. And the way we came up with the name Fierce was actually a couple of different things. We've been real fierce in the way we handle things and the way we push our brand and our business model. But it also came from putting two words together. So our main focus is to have that fire weed and have it look icy like this. So that's how it came. That's how it came together. So if you take fire and ice and you put it together, you put fierce, and that's kind of where it came from. And like I said, the ram head has significant meaning for both of us. So both being Aries. So
Who did your logo, Mike?
a friend of mine who does all my logos. So he does all my designs for everything. So
Do you care to shout him out? Because I like it.
uh, his name is Sam. So good dude.
Yo, well, tell him I said good work. It's certainly one of the more recognizable logos out there.
Yeah.
Every time I see that shit, and like I said, I wore your hoodie to St. J earlier to go take a little cruise, and a random guy in St. J was like, "Oh, Fierce." So
Yeah,
that was at the gas station.
that's what's up. That's the stuff I love to hear that, man. It just lets us know that we're doing the right things and we're really pushing the brand and we're pushing it in the right direction. So yeah.
What I'd like to ask you how you picked out a location for your cultivation facility.
Again, we took a chance on what was available. That was really how it happened. It was, what was available. We had to make a decision fast, and we did. So it's always been like that for me and Jimi, though. It's like, oh, we gotta make that decision real quick. Boom, 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 done. And we always manage to make it work. And it's not all sunshine and rainbows. You know what I mean? We've had some crazy bumps, especially the new spot, but we managed to work through it and we're able to do it, man. And we're real proud of the product that we're putting out. And it was done. It's always there's love in there. You know what I mean? That's a big thing. So there's love. Yeah. Jimi's in there all the time, man, all the time.
And you said there were bumps, and I believe earlier you said you had to chuck a bunch of plants. And I know right now we've just seen the first contaminated products hitting the shelves in Vermont, which was unfortunate to read about. And it sounds like maybe you had some issues and just threw all those away as opposed to trying to salvage them.
It wasn't issues like that. It was just they weren't growing the way we wanted them to. Had nothing to do with anything other than that.
No, and I'm not trying to compare the two situations. I'm just saying, like, we would never
put something on the market that was contaminated.
It seems like the most honest growers and the guys with the most integrity that I've met would rather throw away the product as opposed to risking their entire reputation on a potentially contaminated crop.
And that's just it. It's the reputation. the only thing you have in life is your name, right? And that's we live by that.
My balls and my word. And
yeah, that's it. And we live by that. We want to make sure that when you see Fierce, you know that you're getting that premier quality, that it's been tested thoroughly to what the standards are, and that it's going to be clean medicine or recreational use for whatever you're using it for. We want to make sure that it's clean and it's going to do what it's supposed to do.
And yeah, and boy, it seems like when you're selling weed, your reputation is everything, because customers are, you get one bag of weed that sucks from your guy, you're looking for a new guy. And trust me, I'm a custy.
Yeah, no, I know and that's the thing. People, it's just same thing with the car business, right? So when you sell a car, right? And you sell a car. If you sell a bad car, you're never going to sell that person a car again. And their friends are never going to buy a car. It's the same thing. Right. So you have to maintain integrity, transparency, great product. You have to check the boxes. You can't just step in and go to town with people and just think it's going to work. It's not going to work. You want longevity, you have to do it the right way. And that's what we're focused on, doing it the right way.
Especially in a state this small. I feel like that's very extra important, maybe.
Number one form of advertisement still on the planet today is word of mouth. Still, forget social media, forget digital marketing, forget radio. It's word of mouth. And that's why we focus and we put everything we can into the plants, into the grow. I mean, we push it. We push ourselves.
I'd like to ask you about packaging and labeling it, and how it went for you trying to find compliant packaging and fitting all the warning labels onto the stickers.
You got to get creative. I mean, that's I have some of my packaging right here. I don't know if you can.
It's hard. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
But
it looks beautiful, by the way. Who did that?
I did.
You did it. You did okay. Beautiful, man.
So you have to get creative. And do I want to put that warning label all the way around the bottom? No, but it was a way to make it compliant to where I could still put things on there that I wanted to put on there to make
it seems excessive, some of the warnings, at least from my perspective.
It has to be on there. I get it. I mean, you should. I mean, even the font they chose, you could go smaller without getting a microscope out. I mean, let's be honest. But they did change that. So,
no. Do you have kids, Mike?
I do.
Can I ask you how old your kids are, and maybe if you've talked to them about cannabis and sort of how you go about speaking to your children about that?
So my son, which we talked about a little earlier, he's older. I mean, he's going to be 23 years old this year. So he's got his own life. He knows all about it.
So when he was growing up, how did you talk to him about it?
Well, we didn't really talk about it. You know what I mean? So we never, and with my daughters now, we don't talk about it right now. You know what I mean? They're 12, 13, you know what I mean? 14. So it's, one's going to be 13, the other one's 14. So
how would you approach that conversation when the time comes?
Open-mindedly and educationally, not dictatorshiply, you know what I mean? Not being like, oh, this is blah, blah. I would take what I know and what other people have told me and what I know from personal experience and explain it to them just what it is. It's not, I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. I'm not gonna lie to them, so. And
you're not gonna lie to kids. Wow, amazing strategy.
No, it's amazing. So I wasn't lied to, so.
Yeah, and I grew up around a lot of hippies and shit, and it was never a big deal when we were growing up. It was just open and out there, and it wasn't. And when you see adults like running to like hide in the back room, you're like, what the fuck's going on over there? When they're just enjoying something out in the open, it doesn't seem like such a big deal.
No, I don't really think it is a big deal, So
I'm with you.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
The kids are, they're smarter than we were, They have more access to things than I did. You know, when I had to get on the internet, I had to make sure nobody was on the phone. I had to wait for this thing to make all kinds of weird noises for 10 minutes. So, yeah. Remember the AOL disc that came in the mail?
I do. I do. Before I went to college,
Netscape?
we only
Netscape?
had, you know, before college, we only had dial-up. I got to college and we had internet so fast I could download a movie in 3 minutes. It was a wild culture shock for me.
Yeah, for real, man. And then I have a customer of fertilizer company. He had sent me an email one time, and it was an AOL email or an AIM email, and I gave him shit about it. I was like, man, what the hell? I said, you kept your AIM email from like what, middle school?
You still got a Yahoo address?
Hey, I have a Yahoo address since high school.
Mike, I'm about out of questions. I've got to the end of my list here. Before we get out of here, I have one more question before I give you the last word. What are the retailers that you're working with? Where can we find your flower when it hits the shelves again?
So we're going to be at Magic Man in Essex, Juniper Lane in Bennington, Green State Gardener over in Burlington, Higher Elevation in Morrisville, Capital Cannabis in Montpelier,
Lauren.
Mountain Girl Cannabis down in Rutland.
Fuck yeah.
I spoke with the Green Man. We're gonna be in the Green Man.
Zeb. Yeah, yep.
Corbin's Reserves reached out to me. Who else? Valley Med, I think. Is that the name of their dispensary?
Valley Mead.
Valley Mead, yeah. Valley Mead reached out to me yesterday. So we're gonna go there as well. And there's a couple other people I'm interested in speaking with, see if it's a good fit. You know, it's got to be a good fit. You know, I like the fact, you know, I like to do business with people that want to do business with me. So,
well, and here's another interesting aspect of the industry that I think, especially for growers, is like if you're going to sell your stuff to a dispensary, like the example I think of is Sean Hill from Hill Farmstead. So if he's going to sell you some of his beer, he'll go around the entire state to every bar that's selling his beer. And if you're selling it for more than $7, he will fucking pull that shit out of there and never sell you beer again. I don't know if that's gone up since I've been bartending, but that's his method of quality control. And that seems like an interesting discussion I've had with a lot of growers is, you know, like how much do you sell it to the retailer for and how much are you comfortable with them marking it up?
I mean, it's up to them. I feel like I feel that we bring a premier product. Okay. And you get more than just the product with us. Like I said, we put a lot of love and passion into this. So we put a little bit of our soul into all that. You know what I mean? And I feel that a retailer is going to charge what they're going to charge, but at the same time, they also know that they can't go crazy with pricing.
Right.
You know? You're gonna drown. You're not gonna make it affordable for.
Well, say they took one of your bags and they sold it for $100 an eighth or something, and that's an extreme example. But it's gonna not only it's not gonna it just it would reflect poorly on you as well as them. I believe, and I know that's an extreme example, but you know, just for context, that's sort of.
I agree. I mean, you know, from what I'm seeing with our product on the shelves, I wasn't that far off on the illicit market. So I mean, I tell people all the time, I'm like, oh, you're just gonna have to pay the tax. Go ahead. You know, I mean, really, that's the difference that I'm seeing.
Cool. So what? Like, and you know, when I think of like a high quality bag of indoor, I'm thinking $50 an eighth. If I was in a dispensary, I'll cruise in and pay you $50 an eighth. I know the tax is a little more than I'd want to pay, but you know, for top shelf flower, dude,
I've spent when I go out of town with Chelsea, when we go on vacations or wherever we're going, I've spent $75, $80 on an eighth. Depending on what it is, I'll spend it because.
Was it good? What did you buy for that much? If you don't mind me asking.
I don't remember. It was when we were in Vegas like 3 years ago.
I'll smoke some cookies weed out in Vegas that was $75 an eighth out at the convention. And this kid had a joint out in front of the hotel and he gave me a couple hits. It tasted good, but I thought your weed was better.
I appreciate that considering they're the largest brand in the world, but
no contest, dude. It wasn't even close. It tasted nice, but $75, dude. It's
The stuff we got in Vegas was actually really, really good. It's the
Mhm.
only dispensary that I'll go to when I'm out in Vegas because I have family there, so we do go there. The dispensary Jardin on Desert Inn out there. So I think I texted you and told you to go there, but they have a real cool layout dispensary. I actually really enjoy it. It's a vibe when you go in there. It's really cool. They got like a hidden door. It's dope actually.
like a bodega kind of feel.
No, it's like a doctor's office with a hidden door. It's
Oh shit.
like a speakeasy kind of. It's like you feel like you're in a doctor's
Well,
office.
well, yo, I've seen some bodegas that are super greasy up front, and then you go behind the fake soda machine, and the back is just beautiful.
Yeah, no, it's that place is Jardin is actually I really enjoy that dispensary. We go there all the time actually when we're
Oh, I saw a Curaleaf right next to my hotel. I could see the sign out the fucking window. I was like, great, the closest dispensary is a Curaleaf.
they're you throw a rock and hit them out there though. So,
Can I ask you, Mike, are you at all worried about the MSO corporate influence on the cannabis market here?
no, not.
Why not?
That's why. So you have to have money. You can have all the money in the world. You have all the money in the world. If you don't have the skills, you don't have the skill set, it doesn't mean anything. You bought a bunch of equipment, you know.
Built a nice facility.
I learned so much from Jimi. He taught 95% of what I know about growing now was what he taught me in the past 2 years.
Wow.
So
hey, boy, so it seems like this has escalated quickly because you said your first few grows were fucking terrible.
Terrible. but you want to listen. It's fun though. Once you get into it and you learn these quirks and these little things and I still slack in some areas that Jimi cracks the whip on me, man, and he's like, "Yo, you got to do better."
Oh, he's reversing roles and cracking the whip on you.
As he should, man. It's like, come on, man. Like I slack sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, I got a lot going on, but it's not an excuse. So he cracks the whip and it's like, I got to do better. And I'm like, yo, you're right. I got to do better. And
so he holds you to a high standard.
And he tells me that, he's like, I want you got to learn this. You got to be, he's like, well, if something happens to me, you got to have all this information. So he's really like, in New York, we have a term, he's sunning me a little bit. You know what I mean? But I appreciate it because he's
forward thinking, it sounds like.
This dude was growing in hydro back in like over 15 years ago. I mean,
is that what you guys are doing, hydro?
Yeah, we're all hydro. So we test plants in cocoa, and to see if they can make it, they can get their jet skis and go in the water. That's what we call it.
So you test them with the little pellets or whatever?
Nah, cocoa.
I thought those were the little balls. Sorry.
No. No, that's all right.
I'm still learning a lot, Mike. You guys got way too much information for me to absorb.
I mean, the big thing is we bootstrapped this whole thing. A lot of the work on our current facility that we have that we're working out of now, we did a lot of the work, man. I damn near chopped my thumb off, and Jimi had to rush me to the hospital an hour.
Yeah, a little accident, Mike?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I was being stupid. Well, we had our ceiling fans and we were getting ready to put them up, and I had the sheetrock knife in my hand. I'm holding the fan, and there's a zip tie, and I'm holding it like this, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna cut it. But the fan ended up shifting, and I went like this, and at the same time, my hand moved, and I literally sliced my thumb almost down to the bone. I needed like I came running. I'm running. I'm like, oh, dude, I got to stay right there. He had to rush me down to the hospital, which is an hour away.
And he brought you to the hospital too?
Yeah, he drove me to the hospital.
What a guy.
So but we have we have fun, man. We really do. We enjoy it, and we're thankful for the opportunity that, again, shout out to the CCB for giving us a shot, you know what I mean, and taking a chance with us. We're doing the best we can, and we're, like I said, we're trying to put that premium product, that real premier product out. That's our focus. We want to make sure everybody gets the best experience from us and have a good quality product, man.
Did he laugh at you and give you shit all the way to the hospital?
No, see, he's not like that. He is and he's not like that. he's a very caring person. You know what I mean? So like he really like he was concerned. We laugh about it now because it's funny. But you know, he was concerned. I mean, it's concerning. I mean, I was bleeding bad. I soaked through paper towels and a whole towel. It was bad.
No, that goes. I still got a scar over here from the last fucking work injury. I got impaled by a fucking giant glass shard that almost came out the back of my hand.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it's all part of the adventure, man. We're having, like I said, we're having fun, man. It's fun. It's been easy, but it's fun. Like I said, once you get going and you learn it, it's fun.
Do you find this? Do you find the stress ever getting to you?
I mean, it's always stressful, but listen, car sales, high stress, you know, so it's something I'm used to anyway. You know what I mean? So I'm used to missing, you know, I'm used to, you know, not having a car sale, you know, selling 2-3 cars in a month and not making any money, and you know what I mean. So I'm used to kind of grinding and pushing through it. And Jimi is soldier, bro. He really, that dude, he's put it all on the line. He's really one of the strongest people I know. He does. I put my house up. I would put my house up. He will outgrow anybody. I'll put my house on that. So his passion, his dedication is through the roof. Through the roof.
That's quite a vote of confidence. Yo, quick shout out to Quantum Genetics for this rosin carp. I gotta throw that in there. Word up. I've had this for like fucking 3 or 4 months, dude. These things last me forever, man. Mike, that's it. I'm at the end of my list. I want to thank you so much for your time. Mike Salvaty, Fierce Cultivation in Saint Albans. Thank you, Mike. It's been a pleasure. If we missed anything, if there are any shameless plugs or shout outs you want to give, or anything you got coming up that we should know about, now is the time. And please tell Chelsea thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man, we got our drops coming soon. So like I said, just follow us on Instagram, which is right over here. We'll post that up when it comes out, and just stay tuned. We got a lot of stuff going on. So, you know, right now we're coming, man. We're in the process of expanding. So we'll be coming with some more stuff and more quantity soon. So
can't wait.
All right, Caleb. Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Been my pleasure, man. This will be up tomorrow.
Peace.